Welcome to the community Q&A and weekly wrap-up. We've
Yeah,
had a wild few weeks.
it was a wild week since the last stream
Yeah,
and change. Yeah, a lot of stuff has happened. Obviously, for everyone in our community and those who joined our community, thank you so much for supporting Blitzchung. Uh, we are incredibly proud to be a small part of, I don't know, representing the voice of freedom and the freedom of expression, and obviously with the blockchain, freedom to trade soon, October 29th,
yeah,
TM.
I think the community did an awesome job for standing up in what they believed in. Um, really, really proud of everybody who played the game.
So, a big part of the whole Blitzchung scenario was talking a little bit about the World Tournament. That is something that we are continuing to work on in-house so that we can get more information out to you. Stay tuned. One of these weekends, but not this one. We will be talking about that. Since we are playing with the Genesis board, and it is my Genesis board on my account, just wanted to reaffirm for people that if you want to gain access to the Genesis board, you need to have at least 100 unique Genesis cards in your collection, and that for those of you who have lots and lots of Genesis cards, prestiging is possible. What is prestiging? Essentially, that means if you have collected enough Genesis cards that you have earned all of the quality levels of the board, you essentially unlock an additional Genesis board, and so on and so forth. Essentially, fixing the issue with it being otherwise optimal to have multiple accounts, each getting their own board.
And also worthy of mentioning is that you get the first board and 100 unique, as Clay said, and you can upgrade the quality further with however many more Genesis cards you own, all the way up to once you own all of the Genesis cards, you get the demigod rank. I believe it's all of them, and you get a really, really cool looking dragon.
The raffle for the Genesis season has come to a close in your ability to earn raffle tokens, though we have not yet done the raffle. The drawing will be on October 24th, and I do believe that is Australian October 24th. So for those of you in the rest of the world, look for it on October 23rd. The raffle as a whole was a really interesting experience for us, just watching how play to earn was going to work. It was a really good test case. We will likely be doing them again in the future. Uh, More to come on that. In terms of play to earn, though, we've been hard at work on the economy overall and are going to be announcing more on that soon once we can finalize just a few points. Some of that, though, is right now we are selling Genesis packs, but we aren't selling core packs. And on October 29th, Genesis sales will end. And for a time, the only way you're going to be able to purchase cards is on the marketplace from other players. So this is something that is very different from all of the other card games out there that I can think of, in that we're going to have a period where cards aren't going to be directly available from us. So obviously we will be watching the economy closely then. That does raise the question of, well, how are people going to trade core cards? More, not this week, but soon. So, we have 5,000 legendary chests available to be purchased. A bunch of those are already gone. And then rare chests are essentially unlimited until we sell out the pre-sale, which is accelerating in a way that means I may lose some of my own internal bets with some other people on when that will happen. I believe we're going at about 3% a day right now, and that brings us to
so we can,
76%.
which is amazing.
So, yeah, thank you
days
so
in a
much for all of the support from the community. Thank you to everybody who joined us in the past week and is help supporting the team. Being a little indie studio trying to change how all of this happens, it's really great to have the community that we have. Little shout out to our mods on Discord for all of the great work they do in supporting us and supporting the community. Appreciate you guys.
So what else have we been working on? We've been looking at our first expansion a lot.
A lot on the first expansion. So, as Genesis comes to a close, I have been cracking the whip on Petrify and the rest of the people on the card set team to start looking forward. Yeah, what we were going with, codename Project O, so that we can,
Yeah.
get that into balancing beta in the not too distant future. That is something that, at least at the moment, I know I'm planning on keeping in our paradigm. It isn't necessarily what a lot of card games do with releasing sets, but I think there's a lot of value in, keeping the meta dynamic as we balance things out with our card sets, and we're certainly going to try it again with Project Codename O.
Oh, yeah, we're going to let you guys figure out what the O stands for. I want to bet my tokens or cards in matches. Can this be done?
You are not alone in that desire.
Yeah.
Either in chat or in the office. So, yeah, at some point, yes.
Genesis card locks very soon, as in Genesis cards will never be able to change. So
I want to add some clarification around that, at least in how I know I'm looking at that promise, and that we're not planning on changing the functionality of a card in terms of the text on it. So if the card's a 3/2, it's going to remain a 3/2. But there are things like keywords. Is there a chance that we change how flank functions in the future? Yes. Does that then lead to a change in how a Genesis card with flank on it works? Yes, it does. But that, to me, is not a change in the Genesis card itself because it still has flank. The other thing is there are going to be further updates to how cards look. I know one of the things that I'm really trying to push is getting the rosettes for each of the gods to have a clearer feel to them. I really want the rosettes for each of the gods to really communicate that this is a war card, this is a nature card, and have that tie into the monologue. It's not happening today, but that would be a change to the visuals, but again, not the function of the card.
I did see a question about esports. We spoke about it a bit earlier, but we can't announce too much. I guess the question was, what is the scope of tournaments / esports thing in the future? Scope is massive. It's obviously a lot of money. I think we're around...
We have crossed the $500,000 mark.
Yeah, around $500,000, somewhere around there. And it's that's a lot of money, and when you have 20,000 tickets as well, the scope of that is enormous. Again, I'm all about fairness, and that's something that I hope we have represented in the tournament, but we can't talk too much about it because scope changes a lot, plans change a lot. So,
but it is being actively talked about in the office.
Yep. Any plans to implement utility for trinkets, boards, etc.? I guess it depends on the definition of utility. There are some things planned.
I think I'm pretty comfortable talking about that. Trinkets will come in first just as trinkets and sort of visual accoutrement to the boards.
Beautiful.
That's a word I like. Accoutrement. It sounds so
absolutely beautiful.
But when you have a trinket on the board, and some of the things that will differentiate one trinket to another would be the stats that trinket tracks. So we're thinking of using trinkets as a way to not just have a cool object on the board, but also to capture the stats that you care about.
Mobile or Switch version later. Definitely mobile.
Yeah.
100%. Switch, maybe.
Yeah, I know at some point I had seen a tweet adding me saying mobile by the end of the year, and sorry to burst bubbles, but that is not going to happen. We have some work to do before we can seriously push for mobile, just in some of our core architecture.
Ooh.
But it isn't necessarily as far out there as some other projects I worked on.
One of the question I really like, thoughts on adding a sideboard or wishboard mechanic. So that is actively being talked about a lot. Again, nothing in stone, and I'm comfortable in sharing some of the ideas we've talked about. So one of the ideas we were talking about yesterday and just floating around was the bag of tricks giving you the option to replace a card in your hand with something in a sideboard, for instance. So we might go down that path. There's plenty of different things, but yeah, it's actively being discussed.
Yeah, that's one of those things that's fun about joining a project, because I know I always wondered, like, why did we call it Bag of Tricks if it just gives you more mana?
Yeah.
And then we were talking, I think it was just this last week, about the bag of tricks, and I'm like, oh, you guys were actually thinking about making it a bag of tricks with things like a wishboard. I'm like,
Yep.
oh, like, yeah, we could actually have it do some other interesting things. That makes a lot more sense to me than as bonus and unlocking.
Satchel of
Magic.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways we can go with the sideboard wishboard, and I think it is important for competitive play, but one of the things that I guess is important to capture is making the competitive format very similar to what you're playing on the ranked constructed queue, so you can actually practice, which is something that some other games haven't been great at, and we really want to make sure that we get captured. Is it cool seeing people like Hoy Hearthstone endorse your game? So we actually have Hoy helping us balance test the game. So he's done a fair amount of work. I speak to him quite a lot about the balance of the game, and yeah, he really likes the game, and he genuinely plays it without us paying him as well a lot of the time. So he's awesome. His feedback is really cool, and yeah, it's super cool. I've known Hoy from other games, and he's a phenomenally good player and a fantastic deck builder, so it's awesome.
Did Blitzchung reach out to you guys since your initial tweet? Yes, we have been in contact with him, but I'm going to leave that for him to talk about. If Genesis sells out, I will definitely cosplay. And
who will you cosplay as?
I will do a gender-bent version of Deception. How about that?
All right.
Is that acceptable to chat?
Deal. This is happening, by the way. This is not a joke. So if Genesis sells
maybe we'll
out,
put up a poll and have some options that people can vote on.
Yeah, we should be in the marketing team. Let's do it.
All right, guys. Thank you
awesome.
so much. You have a good one.
Ciao.
Ciao.